Sahih Al-Bukhari 1216. Narrated Abdullah. I used to greet the Prophet while he was in prayer, and he would return my greeting. But when we returned from Ethiopia, I greeted the Prophet while he was praying, but he did not return the greeting, and after finishing the prayer he said, "In the prayer one is occupied with a more serious matter." Sahih Al-Bukhari 1217. Narrated Jabir bin Abdullah. Allah's messenger sent me for some job, and when I had finished it, I returned and came to the Prophet and greeted him, but he did not return my greeting. So I felt so sorry that only Allah knows it. I said to myself, perhaps Allah's messenger is angry because I did not come quickly. Then again I greeted him, but he did not reply. I felt more sorry than I did the first time. Again I greeted him, and he returned the greeting and said, "The thing which prevented me from returning the greeting was that I was praying, and at that time he was on his rahila and his face was not towards the Qibla." Sahih Al-Bukhari 1218. Narrated Sal bin Sa'di. The news about the differences amongst the people of Bani Amr bin Auf at Quba reached Allah's apostle, and so he went to them along with some of his companions to effect a reconciliation. Allah's apostle was delayed there, and the time for the prayer became due. Bilal came to Abu Bakr and said, "O Abu Bakr, Allah's messenger is detained there, and the time for the prayer is due. Will you lead the people in prayer?" Abu Bakr replied, "Yes, if you wish." So Bilal pronounced the Iqama, and Abu Bakr went forward, and the people said Takbir. In the meantime, Allah's messenger came piercing through the rows till he stood in the first row, and the people started clapping. Abu Bakr would never look hither and thither during the prayer, but when the people clapped much, he looked back and saw Allah's messenger. The Prophet beckoned him to carry on. Abu Bakr raised both his hands, praised Allah, and retreated till he stood in the row, and Allah's messenger went forward and led the people in the prayer. When he had finished the prayer, he addressed the people and said, "O people, why did you start clapping when something happened to you in the prayer?" Clapping is for women. Whenever one is confronted with something unusual in the prayer, one should say, "Subhan Allah." Then the Prophet looked towards Abu Bakr and asked, "What prevented you from leading the prayer when I beckoned you to carry on?" Abu Bakr replied, "It does not befit the son of Al-Qafa to lead the prayer in the presence of Allah's messenger." Sahih Al-Bukhari 1219. Narrated Abu Huraira. It was forbidden to keep the hands on the hips during the prayer. This is narrated by Abu Huraira from the Prophet. Sahih Al-Bukhari 1220. Narrated Abu Huraira. It was forbidden to pray with the hands over one's hips. Sahih Al-Bukhari 1221. Narrated Uqba bin al-Harith. I offered the Asr prayer with the Prophet, and after finishing the prayer with Taslim, he got up quickly and went to some of his wives and then came out. He noticed the signs of astonishment on the faces of the people caused by his speed. He then said, "I remembered while I was in my prayer that a piece of gold was lying in my house, and I disliked that it should remain with us throughout the night, and so I have ordered it to be distributed." Sahih Al-Bukhari 1222. Narrated Abu Huraira. Allah's messenger said, when the adhan for the prayer is pronounced, then Satan takes to his heels passing wind so that he may not hear the adhan, and when the muaddin finishes, he comes back, and when the iqama is pronounced, he again takes to his heels, and when it is finished, he again comes back and continues reminding the praying person of things that he used not to remember when not in prayer till he forgets how much he has prayed. Abu Salama bin Abdur Rahman said, if any one of you has such a thing forgetting the number of rakat he has prayed, he should perform 2 prostrations of Sahu'i forgetfulness while sitting. Abu Salama narrates this from Abu Huraira. Sahih Al-Bukhari 1223. Narrated Abu Huraira. People say that I narrate too many narrations of the Prophet. Once I met a man during the lifetime of the Prophet and asked him, which surah did Allah's Messenger recite yesterday in the Isha prayer? He said, I do not know. I said, did you not attend the prayer? He said, yes, I did. I know. He recited such and such surah.